Good day, everyone. My name is Adewale Majoro, and it's so good to be back again. And I wish you all happy Easter. Today, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing an apologetics. And because of the season that we are in right now, which is the season of Easter, I'll be doing the historical evidence for the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Now, before I go into the historical evidence, let me establish towards that. The resurrection is vital to our Christian faith. In other words, without the resurrection, there is no Christianity. If you read 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 14 and 15, look at what Paul said. If Christ has not risen, then our preaching is vain, and your faith is also vain. Yes, and we would then be false witness of God, because we have testified that God raised up Christ, whom he did not raise up, if in fact the dead do not rise. Now let me draw up 4 issues from this verse. Paul is saying, if Christ did not resurrect, it means the gospel message is false. Number 2, Christianity is false. 3, Christ is a liar. Remember that Jesus Christ said, destroy this temple and I will raise it up the 3rd day. Number 4, God himself is a liar, because that scripture says we testify that God raised him from the dead. Now you can see that resurrection is really critical to our Christian faith. And that is why every attack that the Christian faith has received is always against the event of the resurrection. So now let's delve into the points that I have for us concerning the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The first evidence I'll share with us is that Jesus Christ was crucified, he died on the cross, and he was buried. Majority of scholars agree to these 3 facts. When I'm saying scholars, I mean Jewish scholars, skeptics, Christian scholars, and I'm talking about majority of scholars, vast majority of scholars. They all agree to these 3 facts. Now, you might ask me, how does these 3 facts point to the resurrection? Remember, without crucifixion, there is no death, and without death, there is no burial. So, how did Jesus Christ die? He died by crucifixion, and he was buried because he died. And if he's buried, then that's when we can talk about the resurrection. So crucifixion, death, and burial. Now, what's the proof for crucifixion? All scholars agree to the fact that Jesus Christ was indeed crucified. We have sources outside the Bible that attest to this fact, like Josephus and Tacitus. These 2 historians are 1st century historians, and they testify to the fact that Jesus Christ was actually crucified. I'm trying to give us sources that is outside the gospel. Now, death. Many people said he did not die. He was rescued from the cross. He did not die. Now, can this be true? Obviously not. Why? Majority of scholars agreed that the Roman soldiers that were assigned to kill Jesus Christ were professionals. In fact, the crucifixion was actually devised as a means to kill their victim. So they were looking at the most brutal way to kill. That's why they devised the crucifixion. So these people were professionals. They can't afford to make mistakes, because if they make mistakes, they stand the risk of losing their own life. They will be killed. So they have to make sure that their victim died before they can bring him down from the cross. So majority of scholars have discarded the theory of maybe he was escaped from the cross or that he did not die. They all agree that he died on the cross. Now, burial. We all know that Jesus Christ was buried in the tomb of Joseph the Arimathea. How did we know this? the four Gospels, which is one of our major sources, agree to this fact. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. How you may say, oh, how can we be so sure? Because these Gospels were written 30, 40, even 50 years after the resurrection. So how could we be sure that they were recording the facts? Don't forget that two of them, Matthew and John, were eyewitnesses. So now it doesn't really matter when they wrote their accounts. They were eyewitnesses. So they wrote that Jesus Christ was buried in the tomb of Joseph the Arimathea. And if you look at Mark, Mark was writing based on what he received from his source. And his own source is actually an eyewitness too, and that is Peter. And Luke was a little bit vague about where he got his source. We don't know. Maybe he got it directly from an eyewitness, or maybe he got it from somebody who got it from an eyewitness. So let us agree that he got it from somebody who got it from an eyewitness. You can see that we can still not discard these false Gospels because they still testify that Jesus Christ was buried in the tomb of Arimathea. Now, with these three facts, you can agree with me that Jesus Christ was indeed crucified, died, and buried. And like I said, majority of scholars agree to this fact. Now, let me put a stop to it here, and I'll continue in the next video. Just check the link under this video. I'm going to put a link to the next video under this video. Just click on it and you will see the concluding part of this teaching. I want to appreciate you for listening, and I pray that the Lord bless you. Thank you.